your news programming on WQED for this urgent emergency message. The following message has been transmitted by request from the Rockville Emergency Management. At 6:17 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a head-on collision has occurred on the Rockville Bridge in Pennsylvania. At this time, it is confirmed that 4 suffered minor and critical injuries. The death toll is unknown at this time. The investigation assumes it was a costly accident. The engineer has been subsequently fired pending investigation. Stay tuned for later updates. Civil danger for the Rockville area. The following message has been transmitted by request from the NTSB and the United States Coast Guard. All 3 locomotives of Conrail have derailed and causing heavy to fiery damages. The fuel tanks of all 3 locomotives have ruptured, and phone wires have been critically damaged. All 911 lines are out of service until repairs are made. Tune to WQED serving the Pittsburgh area for later statements on this deadly developing story. Stay tuned for further updates. The auto parts boxcar fell into the river after an explosion rocked the area. It was also confirmed that nobody on either freight train was killed during or after impact. Conrail locomotives 3234, 7968, and 3037 suffered critical damages and are likely being sent to Juniata shops for dismantling for scrap. The engineer has since been fired for not meeting requirements. He will not be charged due to his cooperative behavior from the NTSB. It was also confirmed that no severe injuries occurred. All were critically shaken when the 2 trains collided. An investigation has begun. Stay tuned for further updates. The United States Coast Guard and the NTSB have calmed a wrecked train to clean up the mess. 2 of the 3 locomotives fell into the river after one wrecker crane chain snapped. The third is dangling from the bridge across from downtown Rockville. Other areas impacted that will be listed in non-alphabetical order are Columbia, Tyrone, Millersville, Harrisburg, Mechanicsburg, and Nittany. Anyone in these areas are to evacuate briefly to a shelter for your immediate safety. Later statements will be announced in this wreck. Stay tuned for further updates. The 3rd locomotive has also fallen into the river. Another wrecked train will also be sent for recovering the critically damaged locomotives. The tower operator is also being questioned for his role in the accident. He is most likely to require more training to avoid prosecution. Again, all 3 locomotives have fallen into the river over the Rockville Bridge along with the auto parts boxcar mentioned earlier. Tune to WQED on your television outlets and 6:40 a.m. on your radio dial for later statements from the NTSB. Stay tuned for updates on your radio dial as the story develops. A search and rescue crew from the Coast Guard are in process of lifting the damaged locomotives out of the river and onto a gondola bound for the scrap yard. The NTSB have nearly concluded that unspecified communication was likely the cause for this disaster. The engineer's position is confirmed from fired to laid off for not meeting required qualifications. Listen to later statements from the NTSB on how this awful train wreck occurred. Tune to WQED serving the Pittsburgh area for later coverage. Tune to 6:40 a.m. on your radio dial for conclusions on this frighteningly developing story. Stay away from this area. This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast systems shall transmit this emergency message. This program has interrupted broadcasting by request of the United States government to participate in this emergency. During this emergency, most stations will remain on the air providing news programming to assigned areas. This is WQED. We will continue serving the Pittsburgh area. If you're not from this area, tune to your station serving your area for this message. Do not use your telephone, as telephones are being kept for emergency use. The emergency broadcast system has been activated. We interrupt your news programming. This is a national emergency. Important instructions will follow. This message has been transmitted by request from the NTSB and the Consolidated Rail Corporation. A report of unspecified communicational training was confirmed as the result of this disaster. All 3 locomotives and the auto parts boxcar are being sent for scrapping at Juniata locomotive shops. An all clear has been given to anyone in a nearby shelter. We thank you for your cooperation during this emergency. We will now return under regulations by the Emergency Broadcast System to WQED for normal programming.